Hi everybody and welcome to another 5-minute masterclass. Today's topic is compound interest. Now before we start, we'll see you will need a calculator for this. So if you haven't got one to hand, I would suggest you go and get one. Okay, so compound interest is useful in everyday life. Majority of things that we have in terms of finance, so mortgages, credit cards, loans, etc., all use compound interest. So it's a really useful skill to be able to understand and to master. Now, the formula is given to you on your exam. So in that formula sheet that you were given at the beginning, you will find this section here, and I've just copied and pasted it for you to see. So compound interest is where P is the principal amount, so that just means the original. R is the interest rate over a given period, and N is the number of times the interest rate is compounded. And it looks like this: total accrued equals P bracket 1 plus R over 100 all to the power of N. Now, you may have learned it slightly differently, but I'm going to use it from the formula just so that you can see how it should be used. So in my first example, I've got £8,500 is invested for 5 years at 2% compound interest. So these are the three things we're interested in. I notice it says per annum, and that's really important because we need to know how often in these 5 years are we having the interest rate used. So per annum means per year. So invested 5 years, 2% per year, it means we're only doing it 5 times. It might say per quarter, which means it'll be 4 times a year, or it might say monthly, which will be 12 times a year. So it's really important that you're reading that question to ensure that we've got the right amount of times for this N. So just to kind of go through what we're going to use then. So our principal amount is 8,500. Our R is the interest rate, like it says, and we can see that here, that's 2%. And our N is a number of times the interest is compounded. And so N is going to be this 5 years. So it's just 5 because it's once per year. So my total then is going to be this P. So 8,500. Now everything in brackets means that we are multiplying. So we're multiplying by everything within this bracket. So 1 plus R over 100. R is 2%. 2 over 100, all to the power of 5. Now if I tidy this up a little bit, so I've got my 8,500. This bit here in the bracket, if you were to put that into your calculator, you would get 1.02. And I know a lot of you will be very familiar with these decimal multipliers. So it's okay to go straight to that if you want to, but if you want to use a formula, you can see how to use it here. But we're going to do this to the power of 5. Into your calculator that goes. You would not be expected to do this without a calculator. You're going to get £9,384. And notice there's lots of decimal places, so 0.686827. Now, because we're working in terms of money, we're going to round this to 2 decimal places. So I'm going to use 69 because that 687 rounds that. And so that 686 rounds that up. So what is the value of the investment after this time? Well, it's in terms of money, £9,384. £84.69. I'll show you again here, but with a loss this time. So a car is bought for £6,999. It's been losing 17%. And it's saying each year, so it's only once per year. And we're interested in what the value is after 3 years. So our P is that starting value, that's £6,999. Our R is the interest rate, that's given, so it's 17% here. And our N is a number of times over that period, which in this case is 3 because it's just once per year. So putting this into the formula that we are given, 6,999, we're going to multiply it by everything in that bracket, which, because it's now a loss, we're not going to add this on. We are actually going to take it away. So we're going to go 17 over 100, and we're going to use that to the power of 3. So that's the only difference. Because it's loss, because we're losing money, we expect it to decrease. So instead of plus R, it's a take away. Now, this bit in the bracket would simplify. You can check it on your calculator, but it would simplify to 0.83, and that's to the power of 3. Into your calculator that again goes, so 6,999 times 0.83 to the power of 3 gives me answer 4,001.937. 213. I'm going to write my whole calculator display. Now, like I said, in terms of money, we only ran to 2 decimal places. So I'm going to say £4,001 and 94 pence. Okay. Over to you, then pause the video and try these questions. When you're ready, press play. And here's the answers. I hope you've been successful. And if you need any further support, log on to Sparks, Corbett or Maths Genie for further videos and questions. Thank you for your time today, and I'll see you again for another 5-minute masterclass.